Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bunnies on BZCast. I am your host, Randy. This is the official podcast of bunnieson.com. Of course, where you can find our wonderful monthly Bunny e-magazines. Our new one, of course, is out. I'm recording this podcast episode on January 16th, 2017. First episode of the new year. Happy New Year, guys. We did have an episode come out earlier this month. I believe it was January 2nd. I will explain in a minute why that came out at that time, because if you did listen to the podcast, the timing was a little off, and I have an explanation for that. Going back to the e-magazine, it is a fun new issue. Again, full of awesome bunny stuff, and guys, it really, really helps when you download our e-magazine, when you share it and other people download it. So please keep sharing it. We appreciate all the support. Again, it's always posted on Instagram. It's always posted on Twitter. It's the tagged. It's the pinned post on Facebook. It's the pinned post on Twitter. You can find it either one. And again, guys, it's really, really cool. Welcome and happy 2017. Today's episode is a solo recording. It is guest free. This episode is kind of it's two different topics that have kind of come up in the last week. One is the hot topic in the bunny community, I guess that you would call us, is Mike Pence, who's the future vice president. Just as I'm recording this, I think 4 days away from Trump's inauguration. Mike Pence is the future vice president. He introduced to a lot of us that he has a bunny, primarily his daughter's bunny. Marlon Bundo is his name. Sorry, guys. And he introduced him on Twitter that they were getting off of an airplane, and then there were pictures afterwards tweeted or revealed about, he's in a cage, and when they get off, and the other daughter or daughters are holding cats, or mom is holding, I forgot how many kids they even have. As you can tell, I'm not putting that much research into the politics and Mike Pence. Now so I'll go back to Mike Pence in a minute. So going back to the previous episode, which I believe was episode 31, that was supposed to be released. My plan was to release that either right before Christmas or right after Christmas. That was my initial plan. And then Christmas kind of came about the last week of work, which my last day of work. Not like I'm not fired or anything. But I went on a mini vacation from work for about 8 days, just because they gave it to us off. It was very generous of them. The 23rd, it was massive piles of work. We were working super long days, and it was just one of those things where you're kind of overcompensating with caffeine because you're tired from not getting enough sleep and then working long days. Because for anyone in business and just knows a little bit about business, end of the quarter, end of the year is kind of nuts. So for the people that know what I'm talking about, you get it. And when you end the quarter early because your company is going to be closed for a week, it's even crazier. So that's how it was. And that kind of led to me developing a head cold and maybe something into the flu. And then I'm not sure how much laryngitis, if that's contagious or not, but every Christmas Eve, I see my wife's family for a couple hours. It's it's been a tradition like that for 12 years. That's how long we've been together. And yeah, I literally I woke up Christmas morning, I couldn't talk. I was just back pain, and random muscle pain, and I was like that for a little over for the duration of my whole break. My whole break from work was me being sick. So that's the primary reason that I didn't upload it. I literally did not feel that well up until the day I went back to work, because I was on just different kinds of medicine over the counter medicine. And that's the thing too about this, that I did see a doctor because it was to a point where I was getting tired, like 4 or 5 days in. Like, you know what, this is just awful to deal with. And medication, the regular Tylenol and the night stuff wasn't fixing it. So I saw a doctor, and they're just like, yeah, it's a virus. It's going to run its course. You got to deal with it. And which was funny because I thought it might have been strep. I had strep once in high school. And the thing about strep is that you can get rid of it with antibiotics in like 48 hours. I know I'm going completely off topic with talking about human health here on this show. But you could get rid of it in 48 hours with antibiotics, which I would have rather had. Because people were like, well, at least it's not strep. I'm like, no, I would have rather had strep because it would be gone in 48 hours. Rather than a virus which has a like undetermined timetable that could last 2 to 3 weeks. In which I had only had it for a week. And I'm like, oh, this is going to not be good if I have to go back to work with it. I was lucky. It ended at the 7-8 day mark, which was literally like the morning I woke up for work. So right after work, I uploaded the podcast. So to bring up a brief summary of the previous podcast, I think you guys should definitely look into it. It's a solo recording. I mostly talk about looking at yourself and looking at your bunny and looking at goals that you should maybe want to set for yourself. Because that's what, when we talk about the new year, that's what you talk about. What do I want to do different this year? The big thing is I want to lose weight and I want to be more assertive, blah, 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 get a new job, do something different in my career. People set all these goals in the new year, and, obviously this show being about bunnies, what the previous episode is, what do you want to do different with your bunny? Maybe there's something you haven't done. Maybe you haven't tried bonding. Maybe you haven't tried doing different fun things, binky hours, bringing them outside maybe more often, or spending more time with them, those kind of things. Maybe there's something that you would like to do more with your bunny. Just something for you to think about. That's what that episode kind of focuses on. And another talking point that I'll bring up, because I believe it's important, is what do you think as yourself, the human, what do you think you can do to be a better parent? And what do you think you can do to help bunnies? Those are primary talking points in the previous episode. Like I said, I think it's episode 31, as I don't have my phone on me to double check it. This show is on YouTube. As it's called the Bunnies and BZCast. It's on YouTube.com, SoundCloud.com, and on iTunes in the podcast library. Under you could just search it, Bunnies and BZCast, but I believe it's under like education or children and education. This is a basically a G-rated show. I think I've said like ass and damn a couple of times on the show, and that's pretty much it. No swearing. And all right, so going back to the previous episode. So again, it's just things for you guys to think about for 2017. And I also talked in the beginning about people, and I'm going to briefly bring this up about people, because before that previous episode, and I feel like I know I sound like I'm talking in circles, but stay with me. But before that previous episode, I had Facebook posts and Twitter posts, and I don't think, did I do it on Instagram? I might have done it on Instagram. Yeah, I did. I did do it on Instagram. I remember now. Asking people about their opinions, to chime in on, about their 2016 and their bunnies and blah, blah. And I didn't get many responses. Pretty much closer to 0 responses, maybe one or two responses. So I was going into starting that podcast and talking about that. I you could tell I was a little disappointed in that, and I just want to say that the show is so much better when when we have not just saying when I have a guest, but when I can provide more information, when we have a guest on, when you guys ask questions, when you guys, send emails about statements. The email for the show is bunnyzinecast@gmail.com. bunnyzinecast@gmail.com. That's the podcast email. When you guys send in questions and stuff, it just makes the show that much better. You can relate that to a ton of shows, radio shows, podcasts when they answer questions, even TV shows. You know, the late night shows will have fan questions or ask a question from a fan in the crowd. You know, when you watch the news, they're always talking to someone on the street. You know, those kind of things help make the show better. Whether they're very little or whether they're very impactful and they're a large part of the show. So whenever we do get an opportunity to do those things, I just hope in the future that you guys do chime in more. I know the audience for this show varies from episode to episode, depending on the topic. But yeah, send me your opinions, send me your thoughts and opinions. And I know I personally do not do a Facebook status or a Twitter post or, you know, a tweet about every time I talk about an episode. I did for Twitter. I talked about one of the topics on this episode about today's show, and I will talk about those results. I ran a poll on Twitter. I think it ran almost. I didn't run it 24 hours. I ran it like 20 hours for some stupid reason. I don't know why I did that, but it has to do with the whole Mike Pence subject. Okay. So again, if I set up like a poll or if I set up a thing where you guys can send in questions or something, and you think you might, you know, again, if you have nothing to ask or nothing, you know, a statement to throw out there, then yeah, don't have to. But if there's something you want to ask, don't be afraid to ask it. It's all questions are welcome on to the show. I would love to read them and talk about them, or, you know, talking points, ideas for the show. I have no problem checking the email and responding to the emails. I check it a couple of times a day. I have a couple of breaks at work where I have time to do that. And again, I don't have very much, but I always double check it just in case. Again, our email is bunnyzinecast@gmail.com, bunnyzinecast@gmail.com. So going into the first talking point that kind of lit the bunny community on fire, like, you know, metaphorically, but still, was Mike Pence having a bunny. When talking about this subject, you have to try your best to put your political views to the side in judging this. And I know that's tough for some people because a lot of people going into this election that just happened with Trump and Mike Pence. There's a lot of people that I know, friends of mine, that could not stand Pence and Trump. And they even talked about the fact that, like, if Trump stepped down or something happened to them, that they hated Pence even more. And that's almost like a double-edged sword. Like, that's even bigger on the other end, because that's the way to phrase this. They hated Pence more than Trump. I don't know why. I don't follow politics. I'm not here to talk about politics because, one, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to politics, and two, it's just not. This episode is not for that. This show is not to talk about politics. I really don't follow them that much anyway. So, in talking about the bunny, I immediately, when this was shared on Bunnyzine, because Iris of the Bunnyzine development team, Iris is amazing in posting all these links to various bunny related topics on the internet, and sharing the links on her Bunnyzine Facebook page. She's awesome at that. She's doing a great job. She shared it. I believe it was the Washington Examiner. That was the website. I could be wrong on that exactly. Maybe it's something Examiner, Washington Examiner, Metropolitan Examiner, something like that. I did read it. I looked it over. again, you have to, and like I said, going back to the comments, it was immediately a lot of people saying, "Oh, I feel bad for this bunny," or "Oh my." The two biggest things was, "Oh, I feel bad for this bunny," or I. Oh my goodness, there's a bunny in the White House, and then people were like, "Oh no, it's not really living in the White House," and blah blah blah. Other people were talking about the history of of bunnies in White Houses at previous, and talking about previous presidents. I don't know which ones those were, JFK and maybe one of the Roosevelt, Teddy, Theodore. I don't. Either way, the two things that and the things that. And I'm going to go into the Twitter poll in a second. I'm trying to organize this right in my head as I'm talking about it. But you have to try your best to think about the bunnies and if this could mean anything at all. Because in the grand scheme of things, when talking about a political U.S. leader, just their daughter having Charlotte, I think her name is, some with a C, I believe her name is. She has an Instagram that has posts with her bunny on it. I don't have the Instagram handle off the top of my head. It has been, I believe the Instagram handle has been posted on our Bunny Zines Facebook page by Iris. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it might. So you might have to go through our Facebook page, or you can look it up. Honestly, a simple Google of Mike Pence's daughter would probably save you time. A simple Google search of that. And then it'll show you, tell her name, and then you put her name in Instagram, and you could probably find it. Her Instagram has posts with the bunny. The Examiner, I think it's Washington Examiner, link talks about actually bringing the Pence's wife, bringing the bunny into like grade schools and showing the bunny, and she talks about education and educating. I think it's talking about like educating kids and animals, and this is in Indiana because Pence is from Indiana and represented Indiana at the governor, I think. Again, that's how much I don't know. I don't know anything about politics. To where I don't even know like what Mike Pence was in Indiana. I know you can say how dumb I am, but when it comes to politics, I literally don't. I voted, but I don't. Again, I don't pay that much attention to the politics. I do a very generic, basic research when it comes to who I think I'm going to vote for every 4 years. When it comes to that point, I'm talking like the day of or the day before. So going back to Mike Pence. So again, this could literally mean nothing as to, Pence is posting the bunny as a very friendly family thing. Again, because, it's good publicity and, he looks like a good human being because he has a bunny. And, it's just a good publicity thing for them. And you could take that how you want, but that's in general, that's a good, it's a warm, fuzzy feeling family photo of them right before they get off the plane or jet, whatever it is. And the only way I can put this for the Mike Pence and his daughter having the bunny is that, for the most part, I think it's nothing to really worry about. They've had this bunny for at least 2 years, going back to 2014, where the bunny, was going in and out of grade schools for educational purposes. So, obviously the money is there to obviously take care of the bunny. We don't know at all what kind of research is put into, but I have to guess that they take decent care of it. You can't make judgment calls on that kind of stuff. Again, if you're going to make a assumed judgment call that the bunny's not treated well because of maybe one photo in a bad cage, it's kind of hard to do, like, without being biased and flat out hating the guy, as I know many of you listening probably might hate the guy. You have to you have to try to put that stuff to the side and think, well, what could this mean for bunnies? And the only way this could really mean anything, and it is, and it's the one way I could frame it, is opportunity, is the word opportunity. In that maybe something by itself won't happen, but I see it as opportunity for us to make something happen. And us, I mean people in the bunny community, people, House Rabbit Society, at the National HRS Society, listen up, to make something happen, because this is a chance to, and I hate to word this like this, but to take advantage of this situation to where maybe a phone call, maybe an email, maybe a tweet, a Facebook post, something to send them to either the first lady. The daughter is a stretch. I have no idea how old the daughter is even. That's kind of a stretch to ask her for like an interview or her opinion on bunnies. So my guess is to reach out to Mike Pence's wife. And like I said, that could be an email. You can send an email to, I'm sure they have some kind of formal government, like press related email that their minions, I said minions, but that their people handle, that their press team handle, that they look at, and they sort through them and see what's important. But it can't hurt. Again, I see it as an opportunity to where if wink wink, knock on wood, House Rabbit Society, someone higher up sends an email saying, hey, we would like to talk to you about bunnies and education. Maybe talk about when you brought the bunnies to this grade school in a couple years ago, and what are your thoughts about bunnies in their future, in their rights, and blah blah blah. That's, like I said, that's an opportunity. Regardless of how you think about these people, that's an opportunity that's there. Again, this could be something that could be nothing. They could just ignore it in an email or a phone call. Could just be ignored and it could never be replied to. But what if it is? What if it is? Then you open a whole nother door of getting into the first. And look, like I know the first Mike Pence's wife, and I know I should know her name since I'm talking about her. Again, simple Google search would have solved all of this, and you guys could do the same thing. Mike Pence's wife. While she is not the vice president, she will have power. There's no doubt about that. She will have power to make things happen in the White House. If House of Cards, and I know that's a TV show, if House of Cards has taught me anything, is that the first lady, whether it's the vice president or the president's wife, has pull in the White House. Again, that's based off nothing but watching House of Cards. Man, that's a good show. That if that's true or not, but going off of that, I would think that they would have some kind of pull and definitely a well-respected voice, being the first lady. That maybe something can happen. Maybe we can open some doors into, at least make her think and make people in her office think about the welfare for animals and bunnies and so forth. And like I said, it's a cool, different thing that we get to even talk about this, because like with the Obamas, I don't know anything about previous presidents, but I know the Obamas with their two water dogs. I think they're something water dogs. That's a thing, is that they have dogs, and I'm sure maybe I'm sure he will. Trump we'll get a dog. But it's kind of a different cool thing for a different thing for the Pences to have cats and a bunny that they get to bring in. I don't know the whole layout. I don't think they actually live in the White House, but I'm sure they live in Washington or whatever. That's pretty close, to the White House. But either way, again, an email or a phone call, wink, wink, anyone that's with the National HRS, anyone higher or above. And I'm saying that because I think someone with the House Rabbit Society would have the best chance. The House Rabbit Society, like the National HRS, has that channel on the Animal Planet. They are, featured on different, just different things and on different, publications when it comes to, bunnies and animals. And, they're all over the place. They have a huge following on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. The House Rabbit Society, when it comes to animal stuff, is recognized as the biggest bunny-related, rescue and thing, representation. When you think about bunnies, you think about the House Rabbit Society. So when it comes to the National HRS, and that's why I keep bringing them up when it comes to this topic, I think someone on that end, I'm just throwing a name out there, the director and Martin. And some of the other people there, I've previously have had conversations with Ann Martin in the past, and she's awesome, a very awesome person. Someone like that, just throwing that, not saying her specifically, but someone like that, that a higher up person at the National HRS, someone with that kind of representation of that kind of a well-known organization that is related to bunnies and obviously bunny adoption, then bunny welfare, bunny education, that again could, and the part of this opportunity, that's a weird noise. The part of this opportunity. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Siri thought I was talking to her for a brief minute. That's very, very odd. I apologize. That almost took me out of sync right there when I was in my talking point. So someone with that kind of representation of an organization that's so well known, to work well with bunnies, the thing I was going to say, the part of this opportunity is an opportunity for the Pences, for Mike Pence's wife. And that this could be, and again, I hate to word it like this, but when it comes to these kind of situations, it's a double, it's got to be a work well, it has to work well both ways kind of thing. So this could be on their end, when their PR team checks this email, checks this phone call, and sees this could be seen as good publicity on their end. Think about it. If she accepts this email or accepts to do an interview for a House Rabbit Journal or accepts to do like a Skype conversation that the House Rabbit Society gets to put on air, and they get to talk about bunnies for like 5 minutes. Think about how positive that would be on the First Lady's end and how positive that would be for Mike Pence's end. Like, how good that would make them look. Again, it's a warm, fuzzy, warm, fuzzy thing that the First Lady is going on and talk, whether it's a phone interview or, a written interview through email, or a 5-minute video interview through Skype or something like that. That could be something that's very PR positive on their end to also make them look good. Again, I hate to make it sound like that, but again, that's how this kind of stuff works. So, like I said, that opportunity is there. That opportunity is definitely there to make a possible difference. Again, they could just ignore this email, and never respond to anyone. But if they do, there's a chance to make a difference. Just throwing that idea out there. That's how I view this situation. And there's not much more to the whole Mike Pence story other than that. And honestly, and it's weird that I never knew this thing about the bunnies and bringing the bunnies to school. I don't watch the news that much because it's, for Illinois, it's incredibly depressing. I'm like right outside the city, and it's like sports, weather, murder, sports, weather again, end of show. That's literally how the news works. I'm not exaggerating. We have the highest crime rate, murder rate here in Chicago. You know, in the Chicago neighborhoods, it's awful. So that's why we pretty much don't watch the news. And if Mike Pence's wife with bringing the bunny was ever on the news, I probably missed it. But because, like I said, Mike Pence represents Indiana. Indiana is the state right next to Illinois. So it's crazy that I don't know much about him. But at the same time, there's so many glaring issues in Illinois. I'm not going to go too deep into them. As I mentioned one already, the insane murder rate here, that it could probably, that's why it gets covered, that's why probably the news of Mike Pence and his family with a bunny never really reached here locally up until that Twitter post of him with his family on a plane. So again, opportunity, to sum this up. Opportunity is there. The other talking point that I'm going to briefly talk about, this is going to be a shorter episode, every episode's around an hour long, is I just received, just a couple days ago before this recording, the House Rabbit Winter 2016 Journal. So it's a House Rabbit Journal, Winter 2016. I've done reviews. I think I've done at least two reviews on previous House HRS journals. The last one that came out for the fall 2016, was our first color cover issue, which was really cool. So this is the second one. I believe I have that correct. The last one was the first color issue. I believe you can buy, if you go on the HRS website, rabbit.org, that you could buy this issue and maybe other previous issues. Kind of navigate your way through that. Maybe go in the search bar and type in the HRS Journal or House Rabbit Society Journal. I'm sure it'll come up. And then I just received the other day. And in previous episodes, I kind of feel bad that I kind of maybe dove too deep into the episode. Into the different passages that are in here. And I felt bad because I should give you guys a little brief preview of it. I shouldn't give you guys a full sentence or a full paragraph because I want you guys to read it. And I'm kind of spoiling it if and I'm spoiling it for the people at the House Rabbit Society on accident, unintentionally spoiling it. We're giving you guys. I should be just giving a preview, not reading off sentences and paragraphs. That's way too much. That'd be giving you guys the first 5 minutes of a 2-hour movie. Which, that would be ridiculous. So again, I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview of each paragraph. I have a really cool surprise from it. That's really cool. When it comes to the House Rabbit Journal, you can write for the journal. Anyone can, which is the cool thing about this, is anyone can submit an article about the House Rabbit Journal. The guidelines are on there. So if you want to buy a previous House Rabbit Journal and you want to write for it, that might come up when you search for House Rabbit Journal, is the guidelines for writing and the different deadlines that they had for their next issues. And I know it has the guidelines to follow for what you can write about and how long they want it, blah, 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 etc. So again, rabbit.org, search House Rabbit Journal, and you'll find the different guidelines on there. And that's a cool thing is it takes writers from everywhere and they talk about their different experiences with bunnies and what their bunny meant to them and adoption and some of the different subjects in this House Rabbit Journal are really cool. Sorry, I had to clear my voice real quick. All right, starting it off with the House Rabbit Journal, I literally have it right in front of me right now. They have some of the different rescues that they helped out and some of the different rescues that raised money, which is really cool right in the beginning. The first article is by Margot DeMallo of the House Rabbit Society, PhD. Again, I'm trying to keep this to a little bit of a preview. She talks about the state of bunnies. Literally, the title is The State of Lagomorphs Today. So she provides some very cool knowledge of the history of lagomorphs, aka bunnies, and some of the different breeds and species, and some of the ones that are in danger in their current state. It's really, really neat, and it's very informal. I don't think I've yet to talk to Margot. I should. Margot would be a great guest on this show. We'll try to work that out if we come to a subject or a talking point that would be really, really neat. So it's a really neat that 2.5 pages. Another one is, or the next one is called The Bunny That Started It All. This person just talks about their bunnies leading into it's by Noreen. I'm gonna really mess this up. Olivka. The bunny that led to this really, really awesome things into her life. Again, I'm just wanting to provide little previews. The next article, again, this is going to be very, very short since I'm just talking very briefly about this. The next article is the Make Mine Chocolate turns 15, which is really cool. Who did I have on for Make Mine Chocolate? I'm drawing a blank. But I had a representative of Make Mine Chocolate on. We talked about their campaign, which we're getting near that point about the... and I'm going to talk about that towards the end of the episode, I promise. We're going to talk about Easter. That's what I couldn't say. Easter, we're coming up on that. And again, it's very important about the education, about informing others not to adopt rabbits as presents, Easter presents for their kids. It's just Easter presents in general. Rabbits are family. They're a member of the family, just as much as a child is. And or how people view it as a cat or a dog is. And it's important to remind people, Make Mine Chocolate, again, has their campaign every year. They have, last year I did not get one, but I missed out on getting one, and I think I will this year. They have the little things you could wear on your chest, like the Make Mine Chocolate logo with the blue pennant guy. It's really, really neat. I'm hoping to get one so I could do previous or future or episodes coming up in the next couple months to kind of support them. They do a great job. This article talks about them turning 15 years old, which is really neat. There's actually, oh man, look at this. And this is not spoiling anything. Right for us, we're looking for, and this is a thing about the House Rabbit Journal. We're looking for submissions to House Rabbit Journal. We would love to have your contribution. You can find out more information about the types of articles we're soliciting, submission deadlines here. rabbit.org/HRJ submissions. Why is that HRJ? Oh, I guess they don't want HR. Okay. House Rabbit Journal. Duh. Rabbit.org, and a blonde moment there. Rabbit.org/H, and yes, I am blonde, so I could say it. Rabbit.org/HRJ submissions. All right. So there you go. That's perfect. That's a little advertisement in the corner of a page. They have a poem titled Bella's Wish. I read it. It's very, very sweet. Next page. And oh my goodness, I immediately messaged her right away when I saw this. Bunnyzine, development team member, Iris. Iris, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. Iris of the Bunnies on Development team, who's been doing all these Facebook posts and providing all these articles about different bunny subjects and topics and etc. Got an article on the House Rabbit Journal. That's very, very cool. I said, wow, that's awesome. We talked for a few minutes about it, on how cool it is. It's titled Advocating for Rabbits, which is really awesome. I read through it. It's very cool. Again, Iris, shout out to her for her to get a piece, to get an article in the House Rabbit Journal. Very, very cool. Iris, again, does a great job with this article, and does a great job with Bunnysign as well. And Iris has also helped me out with podcast episodes. She's given me, at least off the top of my head, I think 3. She's helped me out with very influential in helping me out with 3 podcast recordings and topics and guests and etc. So Iris has done a great job for Bunnysign. Shout out to Iris, and shout out to Iris on this article. It was very cool to have someone from Bunnysign in here. They have a little excerpt. It's about half a page about how you can help, and they talk about how you can help with the House Rabbit Society. The next one is a 2-pager about From Grief to Grace, Maurice, Miss Bean, and Bella by Chelsea Eng, E-N-G. This is a very sweet, sad, and like enlightening. It's hard to put sad and enlightening in the same sentence, but it's a very sweet, sad, but like positive towards the end kind of article about bunnies and how it helped. How bunnies just helped this person. Is very, very good. There's a next one. The next one is Fly Strike in Rabbits by Stacey Granum, the DVM Rabbit Guardian. Again, I love these kind of articles because of how informal they are and talking about the different medical situations. I'm not even going to begin to even try to explain this, but it does a very, very good breakdown and recognizing fly strike and rabbits, the kind of damage that it does and what to do. And the last article in the House Rabbit Journal, winter 2016, is this one. The picture is very cute. The Trans-Pacific Bunny by Stephanie Fang. It talks about this bunny's, I guess you would say, attempted journey for flying. I'm not sure. Was it international? I believe it was an international flight. I read this as soon as it came out, and I'm trying to think if it was I think it was international. An international flight. And it talks about some of the different airports with bunnies and some of their roles, and it talks about the humans, the parents, and talks about their journey in and dealing with trying to fly a bunny, have a bunny on an airplane. And that's it. Again, I wanted to leave that as previews because I did not want to spoil the issue and just give you guys a, again, like a 2-sentence layout or a paragraph. The only thing I read was the House Rabbit Journal thing. So again, that's a very, very short preview for the House Rabbit Journal. Our current Facebook post that Dustin just posted the other day, and you guys should check this out, is February is coming up, and that's of course has Valentine's Day in it. And Dustin has a post about saying, lovely. How do I word this? Like kissy photos and, with the humans, human and bunny or 2 bunnies, that kind of thing. Go to our Facebook page. When you guys read this, it should be one of the, previous posts. When you guys listen to this episode, not read this. It should be up there in our timeline. You guys can submit them through the email, through the comments, or through the email. I think it's officialbunnysign@gmail.com, officialbunnysign@gmail.com. That's the email for the show, not the show, for the e-magazine, and that goes to Dustin. You can message it to the Bunnysign Facebook page. You can submit them through the comments. Either way, we love to do that every year for February. It's a love month with Valentine's Day. So submit those, get those in. I wanted to get that out there. So the thing I talked about when I talked about Make Mine Chocolate is a campaign that's going to be starting very soon. So everyone that's listening, I want you guys to look into it. It is the hashtag. Everyone knows what a hashtag is. Not just for Easter. It's a campaign similar to Make Mine Chocolate that involves different ways to get involved. Like you can do like organized, standing outside with the posters and outside of pet stores and that kind of thing. I don't know why I can't think of the word, but you guys know what the word is. There's different ways that on that website where you can get involved. We did a podcast episode I did with Allie she leads this cause. It's a very, very awesome cause. Again, it's hashtag not just for Easter. If you Google that, if you look up the Facebook, I think they have a Facebook page. So look that up, hashtag not just for Easter. You might not even have to put in the hashtag on Facebook or I'm not sure if they do not have a Twitter. I'm not sure if as far as I know right now, they don't have a Twitter. But on Facebook, you can help support the cause. You could visit the website, which should be on the Facebook page, and see how you can help support this cause. Again, we had Bunnysign is behind and is in full support of the Not Just for Easter campaign. Again, visit their Facebook page, visit their website, and see how you can help this very, very awesome campaign. Again, it's educating people that bunnies are not just for Easter, their life, their family. Check out that campaign. Again, guys, for the podcast, you can find this podcast and all previous episodes on SoundCloud.com, on YouTube.com, and on iTunes Podcasts. Again, you guys check out our January issue and talking about our 2017 brand new January issue. Make sure you guys check that out. Again, it's very, very awesome. It's very important that you share those, that you download. It helps Bunnysign get more attention. And the more attention that we get, the more we can help bunnies, and that's the goal. Helping bunnies, education, etc. You guys, all of you guys listening, you guys get it. Email the show. As I said it earlier in the show, bunnysigncast@gmail.com, bunnysigncast@gmail.com. Any questions about the show? If you want to just talk about something, something obviously bunny related, that's cool. Have a talking point for a show, an idea, a guest. Maybe there's someone you think that'd be cool to talk to on this show. I'm all ears. Send the email. I am very, very open to those kinds of emails about questions and ideas, etc. I really, really appreciate you guys turning in. And I apologize for me being sick. It was just brutal with me being sick. I canceled like 3 different family plans that I was supposed to do that week because I had the week off. I had the week off from work, and I knew I had the week off from work for like 2 months. So I had scheduled like 3 different family things to see family and canceled all of it because I was just awful. I didn't have a voice. I was dealing with a cold. I was in bed all the time for days. It was brutal. So again, I apologize for that episode. If you haven't listened to it, again, make sure you check it out. I believe it's episode 31 as I have my phone in front of me right now. So I will double check that. It'll take like 2 seconds. All right, yeah. It's literally called BZCast episode 31, 2016 and beyond. That's the title of the episode. This episode is episode 32. 32. What else was I going to say? That's pretty much it, guys. I really, really appreciate you guys for tuning in and all the support. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, download to your favorite format. Again, that's very helpful. Whatever way you use, SoundCloud. If you enjoy YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube. You're not really... you don't see me in any format unless I do a YouTube only video. Again, we're on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. Make sure you, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. Make sure you check out our January issue. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye-bye.